Hello, I'm Kenny Leigh of Kenny Leigh Associates. Our firm exclusively represents men in family law in the state of Florida. I'm here today with our firm president, Stefani Nolan, and we're going to talk to you about child support. Stephanie, how basically is child support determined?
It's real basic. You input what each party makes.
hmm
You put in the overnight time sharing. You put in health insurance and daycare expense.
Okay, and it's just basically a computer program.
Right.
And everybody basically uses the same computer. We're programmed, the lawyers, the judges, so you just input these numbers, right?
Correct.
All right, let's get a little more specific. What different things, and you touched on them a little bit, let's say health insurance. Let's say a father is paying for the health insurance for the children. How does that come into play in the child support calculation?
It goes into the calculation in two different areas.
Okay.
The first area is going to be taken out of the person's income, and it'll be his expense or her expense for what it costs them for health insurance.
Okay, so if they earn $1,000 a month and they pay $100 a month in health insurance, then for income purposes, it'll be $900 a month. Okay.
Right, and then what is the health insurance cost for the child? It goes into the formula in a separate area.
Okay, a lot of clients say, well, I pay for health insurance. I don't want to also pay an X amount in child support. So basically, health insurance is already in the calculation, so you get credit for that.
It's all taken into consideration.
Another issue that people have is, well, I pay for daycare. I don't want to pay for daycare and child support. How is daycare affected in the child support calculation?
Whoever is actually paying the daycare expense gets credit for it. It goes into the calculations. So when it's determined what the percentage of each party is paying, that the party that's not paying the daycare expense has to pay their percentage of it in the calculation.
Right.
So if daycare is added, of course, that person's child support will be more.
Right. So again, daycare is considered. A lot of people think that it's two separate things. It feels like two separate things, but the actual number, the child support calculation that spits out does take it into consideration. Now, another issue that people have is overtime. If a dad gets overtime, how is that considered in regard to the child support calculation?
Well, all income that somebody is receiving goes into the child support. However, if you have like overtime that is maybe incurred one time or a couple of times, but is not customary to that person, then more than likely that overtime would not go into the calculation.
Okay, so it needs to be recurring.
Correct.
All right, so for example, we have a lot of people who who work for the electric company, and if there's a bad storm and they get a whole bunch of overtime because of that,
right,
that shouldn't count.
Correct.
Right? Okay. All right, alimony. Dad's paying mom alimony. How does alimony come into play with regard to child support?
Okay, alimony, if a husband and wife, let's say it's in a divorce, if the husband is paying the wife alimony, it goes into her side of the income to give her income, and it's taken out of his side to decrease his income.
Okay, so if the husband's earning $10,000 a month, but he has a $2,000 a month alimony obligation, then his income would actually be $8,000 for child support calculation. So alimony is considered as well. How about disability insurance or military retirement or any other type, not insurance, disability payments? Retirement payments from the military or pensions from firehouse or all that, if you're receiving it, how do all those different areas of money come in?
If it's income coming into the parties, it doesn't matter if it's disability, Social Security, retirement income, it goes into the calculation.
Okay, so there's no income that you receive, and military people hear this a lot. When you're on the LES, there's some things that are taxable, some things that aren't, but they all come into play. Now, there's a different area of disability that comes into child support that we're not going to get into today, but if the child is actually receiving a child support check from the government, there's different ways to calculate that as well. So there are all different kinds of ways to handle child support and to calculate it. But the final issue I want to discuss today is time sharing. How does time sharing affect child support?
It's very important. We need to find out what the parenting plan is going to be for the parties, and then what each person is, as far as overnights, what they're going to have, because that can directly impact how much somebody is paying. So the more overnights you have, the less you pay, because you have the child, more time with you.
Okay, so essentially that's really it. The more you have, the less you pay.
Right.
Right. Okay. If you have any more issues regarding child support or any questions, please visit our website at divorcemenonly.com. Kenny Leigh Associates is the largest family law firm in the entire state of Florida with 9 offices across the state. We exclusively represent men only in the area of family law.